All right, let's wrap up Standard 12. Here is our Standard 12C. You guys are going to be able to explain the terms of peace, the war crimes trials, division of Europe, plans to rebuild Germany and Japan, and the creation of international cooperative organizations, and the Universal Declaration of Human Rights of 1948. All right, so the outcomes of World War II. European powers will lose their empires. We're going to have the establishment of two major world powers, the United States and the Soviet Union. We are going to have war crimes trials be established. And we're going to have the division of Europe by what is called the Iron Curtain. It is metaphorical. It is not a real Iron Curtain that divides the continent of Europe. It's metaphorical. All right, on the west of the Iron Curtain, we are going to have a more democratic Europe. And to the east of that Iron Curtain, we're going to have a more communist Europe. We're going to have international cooperative organizations, such as the establishment of the United Nations. We are going to have the Marshall Plan. The U.S. is going to help rebuild Europe from the economic collapse of World War II. We're going to have the forming of NATO, which is the North Atlantic Treaty Organizations. So if you think of the Atlantic Ocean and you think of all the countries that are in the northern part of the equator in the United States and in Europe, those countries are going to form NATO, and they're going to be a democratic alliance. And on the flip side of that, we are going to have the forming of the Warsaw Pact, which is a communist alliance dealing with those Eastern European countries. Efforts to reconstruct Germany after World War II. We're going to have a democratic government installed in Western Germany. There's going to be a communist government installed in Eastern Germany. And Germany and Berlin are going to be divided among the four Allied powers. So that Western democratic half of Germany is going to be controlled by the United States, Great Britain, and France. These are all democratic governments. And the east of Germany and East Berlin it's going to be controlled by the Soviet Union, which is a communist government. And we are going to talk much more about this in Standard 13, which is regarding the Cold War. All right, the efforts to reconstruct Japan. We're going to have the U.S. occupation of Japan, and it's going to be under U.S. General MacArthur's rule. We're going to have democracy and economic development in Japan. We're going to eliminate the Japanese military, and the U.S. is going to protect Japan. And Japan is going to become the dominant economy in Asia. The establishment of the United Nations, or the UN. The UN is a peacekeeping organization. It's going to be established after World War II. It's very much like the League of Nations being that peacekeeping organization, but they're going to have the military reinforcement, and we still have the UN today. Its goal was to protect members against aggression. The UN consists of two important groups. We're going to have the General Assembly, in which all members can vote on issues. Then we're going to have the Security Council, which is made up of 11 nations that hold the real power to settle disputes. And 5 of these countries, they are permanent members, and they have the veto power. And the last slide we're going to cover in this set of notes is the Universal Declaration of Human Rights of 1948. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights was passed by the UN in 1948 to set human rights standards for all nations. It stated that all human beings are born free and equal in dignity and rights. Everyone has the right to life, liberty, and security of person. And even though the Declaration is not mandatory, it encourages people to work toward a world in which liberty and justice are guaranteed to all. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I know on the back side of these notes we have the U.S. uses magic to fix West Germany and Japan after World War II. M is going to stand for MacArthur, and he's going to rebuild Japan. And Marshall Plan is going to help rebuild Germany. The Marshall Plan is going to give $13 billion to Europe. Many supplies are going to be brought in by air. And MacArthur also wrote the Japanese Constitution. The A in magic stands for Asia's economy dominated by Japan and Europe's by Western Germany. By the 1970s, Japan was a world leader in automobiles and high-tech fields. And West Germany quickly had the largest economy in Europe. Production of cars, steel, and coal being very important. The G in magic stands for guaranteed security by U.S. in both Japan and Western Germany. Wanting to avoid a repeat of Japan and Germany's militaristic pasts, the U.S. guaranteed their securities and kept troops in both countries. There are still troops there today. The I in magic stands for incapable of having a military, and this is for both Japan and Western Germany. The U.S. would not allow either country to have a military ever again, and that is why we, the United States, guarantees their security. And the C in magic stands for creation of democracy in Japan, Western Germany, and Western Berlin. Today, Japan and Germany are two of the 5 strongest democracies in the world, thanks in large part to America, forcing democracy upon them after World War II. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions dealing with Standard 12C, or the U.S. uses magic to fix West Germany and Japan after World War II notes, please come see me, but we will revisit all of what you heard here in the last 8 minutes in Standard 13. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are done with World War II. Wonderful. You guys have a 3rd quarter test coming up, so please make sure you complete your 3rd quarter review open notebook take-home test packet that I gave you before your spring break. I know it looks lengthy, but we have done everything in this packet in other review packets or in our standard 11 and 12 notes. So again, if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to email me or come see me. Ask. I'm here for you. All right, see you guys on the flip side.